Privilege stems from preferences. There's certain things that people prefer. People prefer things like beauty, wealth, success, and whiteness. Why is whiteness preferred? Whiteness is preferred because it's an extension of beauty. Okay, so white privilege is an extension of beauty privilege, or is a component of beauty privilege. Okay, so it is the beauty in fairness and whiteness that people see in white people that they prefer. Okay, the next component of whiteness that makes it preferred is the perception that people have a whiteness of being of goodness, of godness, godly, angelic, of the light, of heaven. This is how whiteness is perceived in this society. When people are preferred, they are treated better. Okay? And they are treated better by their own kind because they're preferred, meaning they're preferred by their own kind, and they're treated also better by people who are not their own kind because those people prefer them too. So they're treated better no matter where they go. People outside of the white community tend to treat white people better, and white people have a white privilege outside of the white community because non-white people sees beauty as fairness and whiteness too, and so that becomes a preference for them too, not in the form of what they are because they are not white, but in the form of what they want to be. Not saying consciously that non-white people consciously want to be white, but whenever something is preferred and have more privilege, there's a part of the mind that wants to aspire for that because they feel like if I had that, then I would have the privilege that they have. So that is how white privilege works and why white people have privilege in the society. Jordan Peterson, who I thought would have had a different outlook on this. I don't know what his perspective is now on this topic, but he had said that the idea of white privilege is something like it's not valid or whatever. But it's very valid, Mr. Peterson, because you don't see your white privilege, or you don't see white privilege because it's not very it's not going to be very obvious to white people, because when you are living your white life, you're just living it from your perspective. You're not seeing what's under, and people who are under, they feel the pain of being not privileged and not having the certain advantages and not being able to do what you could do. So they're very much more aware of their lack of privilege than you are of your own privilege, because as far as you're concerned, from your perspective, you're just living your life. You're just seeing life from your eyes and your view. And it's hard to see, especially when you're white and you also want to believe that your advantages don't exist because it makes you feel some kind of guilt and some kind of shame and some kind of responsibility, when you want to avoid all of that stuff. You will tell yourself, and I'm not saying you, Jordan Peterson, is doing that, but most white people who deny white privilege and white entitlement, this is what they're doing. They're trying to avoid the responsibility that may come with acknowledging that it does exist. But white privilege exists in the form of white skin, and having white skin is a symbol of beauty for people, and also whiteness is a symbol of goodness, of light, of greatness, of heavenly bodies, of God. This is how white is, perceived, and this is the perception of whiteness. Not just white people, but people in general have a whiteness. So when whiteness is in the form of people and in the form of race, then you could bet that those people will have an advantage because people prefer them. When you're preferred, people look up to you, people aspire to be like you because you have an advantage, you have a privilege in society. and it's what they want. And when you're white, you want more of it. When you're not white, you want it. So yes, white privilege does exist.